Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, I want to talk about a mechanic that's been popping up a little bit more in Warhammer Age of Sigmar recently. This I'm going to refer to as the level up mechanic. Now, I'm going to go through this video, talk a little bit about where it's probably originated in Warhammer Age of Sigmar, what it's doing now, and sort of what it does in general, but it is something I've seen pop up couple of times now recently in a few of the most recent battle tomes. With that said, let's get cracking into sort of this story, and we're going to start off by talking about what exactly it is and where it started. So what exactly is it? So the level up mechanic I'm referring to is a mechanic whereby doing things on the battlefield you generate additional abilities for the model in question. Now, this originated in a model known as Epidemius, the Tallyman of Nurgle. This is a Nurgle Daemon miniature. He sits on his giant chair and effectively he notes down stuff that sort of takes count of all Nurgle's sort of corruption across the realms. Now, his one is a little bit different to the more modern ones we've seen. We'll get talking about them in a second. But here's one effectively, so at the start of your hero phase, you consult the table below to see what benefits are bestowed upon the units. You keep a tally of the number of enemy models that have been slain by friendly Nurgle units during the battle, and then you consult the table. So on a 0 to 6, nothing happens. On a 7 to 3, you give this benefit to all Nurgle units on the table, so you get to reroll wound rolls of 1. 14 to 20 models slain, they get reroll hit rolls of 1, and on 21 plus you generate an extra contagion point every one of your hero phases. These bonuses are cumulative and last for the rest of the battle, but end if Epidemius is slain. This is where this particular thought process for the rule, I think, originated. This is the earliest sort of thing I can find of a rule, and this rule has existed since the very start of Age of Sigmar, and in fact I also believe it existed in Warhammer Fantasy as well. Now, what this sort of does is it means your character can get better during the game, and I think with the more recent ones, which we'll talk about as I said just in a second, we have found ways to improve upon this and make it more interesting, but this effectively means your Nurgle units go out and kill stuff and they get benefits for doing so. You play the game in a way that maybe Nurgle doesn't always play. It's not always the most offensive army. Yes, I know it has run and charge on Black Kings, and potentially it can be as well. But it, with Plague Bearers and Demons, it's generally a bit more hold the line sort of style army. So it made you go play a different way and go do things and get more benefits to make your troops better. I really do like this mechanic. It's just fun. Keeping track, yes, it can be a little bit of a pain to keep track. But, with things like battle tactics and all that, we've already got pen and paper by the side of the table now in the game. I don't think this is anything extra that's too hard to keep track of. So, with that in mind, let's talk about how this next came into Age of Sigmar, and probably the second to most recent case. And so this next came about in the Soulblight Gravelords battle tome. It might have appeared before this, but I think this is the start of the trend maybe we're starting to see now. And so we got the Might of the Crimson Keep from the Castello Dynasty. All the vampire units, effectively, when they kill certain units, they get additional benefits. Now, this is something we've seen more recently as well from the Stormcast Eternals. The Giant Scarred Dragon has a very similar ability, but effectively, they're very, very similar. So they both get an ability when they kill an enemy hero or monster. In the case of Castello Dynasty, add one to the damage characteristics of the vampiric models, not the mounts. If they kill a model with a wounds characteristic of 3 or more that was not a hero or monster, they add 1 to their wounds. And if they kill effectively anyone else, they add 2 to the run and charge rolls for that unit. This is really cool because it forces this unit, if they want particular benefits to go do a job, to go maybe get something else first. Or so you can't gain the same ability more than once with this one. So this is the interesting part with this one. So you can't, keep going out and trying to kill hero or monster with them to get more and more attacks. And you can't, go kill like ogres continuously to go get more wounds on the unit. What it does do is it does change how the unit plays a little bit, giving all of a sudden these Blood Knights an extra wound. I believe they go to 4 wounds each if they start doing this, because they are 3 wounds apiece, if I'm correct. Maybe wrong. But it makes them much more tankier. Adding 2 to your run and charge just because you killed a chaff unit is really nice. I like the idea that this makes you want to go kill something first, and then go do a job after you've got the benefit. Or even potentially, oh, cool, this is the first thing I ran into. Now all of a sudden this unit's better at doing X. I'm going to make them do X during the battlefield, and giving you the option to change your tactics with your Blood Knights or your unit that has a particular rule like this during the battle. Now, the more recent one that we've seen is Karazal The Scarred. This is one of the 2 new dragons that got revealed for the Stormcast Eternals, and his one is very similar to the Castellane Dynasty's Blood Knights ones, in that he gets an ability for killing a hero monster, 1 for killing a unit with 3 or more wounds, and 1 for killing effectively normal 1 or 2 wound models. However, his can stack, so this is the interesting thing about him. You add an extra attack every time he kills a hero monster, so his one stacks. He adds 1 to run and charge rolls for the rest of the battle, and this, once again, stacks as it's read here, and then he can also heal wounds as well. So his one stacks. Now, I don't mind stacking on a big, massive model like this, because it sort of makes him get more and more deadly. And there's only 1 of him on the table, so maybe this isn't bad to allow stacking on something like this where there is only 1 and it's such a big sort of chunk of your army. We're assuming, these are going to be at least 500-ish points, if not more, probably closer to 700 or 800, maybe even more than that. Who knows? Anyway, we're assuming they're going to cost a lot of your points. So this compared, we don't want maybe Blood Knights to be continuously getting extra and extra attacks for their smallish points cost of 200 and something, I believe. Or are they 200 exact getting on? But is that an issue? I think with the whole stacking ones, I think we can look at this and maybe look at ways to generate stacking. And we've now got these 2 different ways as well, looking at Epidemius, who has a gradual table that gets better based on doing the same thing, or now the Castellan Knights, Blood Knights and Karazai doing certain things and getting certain benefits. I think both ways of doing this sort of level up mechanic are really interesting to the game, and both can bring a lot. I'm wondering now though, because we've seen or at least 2 of these in 2 successive battle tomes, are we going to see something like this in Auric Warclans? And if we are, is this going to be a mechanic that we see further explored? We know that Games Workshop likes to continue exploring the same mechanic over and over and seeing how it changes, and we've definitely seen that already. We've seen it go from a unit in a particular subfaction to a singular model, and we've seen the evolution of not allowing them to stack and now allowing them to stack. So it'd be interesting. I look back at things like the Activation Wars, where we originally saw the activation abilities and stuff come into the game. Of course, that was originally brought in by the Wood Elf Glade Lord on Forest Dragon, and then the Idenef Deepkin brought in activation sort of rules. But is this a new mechanic we're going to see them exploring? And I actually really want them to, because I think this has some interesting potential as a new mechanic for the game that maybe gives a new way to play. It'll give some really interesting things you can do on the tabletop. Anyway, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this new mechanic that seems to be popping up a little bit in the newer publications, so let us know in the comments below what you think of the level up mechanic. Well, thank you all for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Also, while you're at it, why not come chat more with us on Discord? We've got a link in the description of the video below to our Discord server. You can come chat with me and other members of our fine little community here at Sinful Gaming. Lastly, we'd like to give a shout out to everyone who helps support the channel in various different ways. First of all, to our Patreon members, Christian Weir, James Soren, Chaos Spawn, AJC, Kenny Lowe, Outer and Shot First, James Crowder, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, Tim Newman, The Rising Ape, Cure Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, MJ, and Dyna226. Thank you to, as well, our YouTube members, Green Roots Gaming, Fire Titan, Steve T, The Real Zeok, Chris Wallace, Turai12, Vinny, and Loch Lorick. And a special thanks to our artist who does all the channel art for us, Lady Witchfox Art, thank you very much. And to our Discord moderator, Xmorphic, you do a fantastic job on Discord for us as well. Thank you all, everyone, for watching. If you'd like to help support on Patreon or YouTube member, or help support the channel in another way, you can do so by following one of the links in the description of the video to Patreon or YouTube members, or go buy some Sinful Gaming merch from our Teespring store, also linked in the video's description. That's it for today, everyone. Thank you again. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.